Well, hey folks, welcome back to the channel. It's good to have you. In this particular episode, we're going to take a look at a Spark 143 scale resin model. This of the Porsche 935 JLP-3, the winner of Road Atlanta 5,000 kilometers in 1982. This is a limited edition model. It is resin, it is sealed, it does not have any opening parts, but it is phenomenally well detailed, as we're going to take a look at here shortly. Comes on this wooden base along with a plastic acrylic jewel cover and a themed box. Now, to give you a little history about this car, the Porsche 935 was introduced in 1974, and in that year it was a second place overall finisher of the 1974 24-hour Le Mans. Not bad for a first year. In 1977, Porsche offered the car to customer teams for the FIA, IMSA, and I hope I get this right, the Deutsche Rennsport Meisterschaft, or DRM. The vehicle won the 1974 20-hour Le Mans overall. It also won at Sebring, Daytona, and 1,000 kilometers of Nürburgring. Of the 370 races it was entered in, it won 123 of them. And for sprint races, like this car that you see here, and you're wondering why it doesn't have headlights, the headlights were removed to reduce drag, and it was known as the flat or slant nose. It also featured a long tail rear fenders, which you can very, very clearly see there, which offered more space for engine periphery and efficient cooling. And after Group 5 was discontinued in 1982, the 935 continued to compete in the IMSA GTP categories by privateers. The last major victory was the 1984 12 Hours of Sebring. Now, if you were to find this at your local store, this is what it would look like. It comes in this U.S. theme box, as this was raced at the Road Atlanta 5,000 kilometers. It's blue. Has American theme around the sides of it. It has open front, sides, and rear. And the back of it is American themed, like you see there. And if you take a look at the bottom, it has the usual legalese that you typically see. Spark, Minimax, so forth and so on. Guys, the drivers of this car were John Paul Jr. and John Paul Sr., names that probably most of you remember, because they were actually very, very good at what they did, particularly John Paul Jr. However, they did have a criminal background, which we're going to get into in just a moment. This particular car in 1981 won Daytona and Pocono. And in 1982, this car won the 24 Hours of Daytona and the 12 Hours of Sebring, with John Paul Jr. becoming the youngest IMSA GT champion ever at the age of 22. He would also win the 1997 24 Hours of Daytona. Both he and his father, and this is where it gets interesting, would serve time for drug smuggling. His father even for shooting a federal witness. John Paul Jr. was sentenced to 5 years of prison, although he would only serve 30 months. And after his release, he would compete in both win kart and Indy cars, and as I also mentioned, he would win the 1997 24 Hours of Daytona. So would have a very, very successful career despite the criminal background that apparently he was engaged in along with his father. This particular car, guys, is absolutely stunning in every way. It's a Spark. I mean, you know, you kind of expect what you get. If you look at the wheels, they're absolutely gorgeous in their detail. Notice that there's no markings on the tire to designate what kind of tires they ran. Obviously, Miller was their sponsorship, and I did read that when they picked up Miller sponsorship for this particular car, that is when it really excelled and started winning lots and lots of races. And you can see John Paul's name on the driver's side of the car. His son's name would be on the passenger side. Got one aerial on the top. And if you take a look at the front of the car, it's just really amazing. Look at all the detail there, other than the windshield wiper at the top of the hood, just where it meets the windshield. You can see all sorts of buttons and switches there. I'm not sure what they're for, but phenomenally small little parts, typical what you'd expect from Spark. Miller stands clear. I kind of like the white and the red looks very, very good. And I can tell you, folks, you know, I have very, very few Spark models, just to say this, that are not perfect. And this is one of those that is perfect for every way that I can see. I mean, just absolutely beautiful work on it. The finish is gorgeous. I I mean, every small part that you see just astounds you. And here's a cool look from the passenger side of the car. If you take a look in the cabin, you can see a lot of the details in there. I mean, guys, it's really cool. There you can see John Paul again on the other side of this. Miller High Life along the top of the car with the aerial. There's a cool look at the interior from the rear. You know, bear in mind, this is really, it's a Porsche 911. So it is rear engine, so you don't see anything there. The back of the car has phenomenal detailing along with this major rear wing that says it's Miller time on the top. We'll take a quick look at that. And if you pull back, I did mention this is a limited edition car. This is number 298 of 500. Very, very, very cool. Look at the taillights and a lot of the other exterior parts on the rear of that car. It's really amazing. There are black hoses that are really kind of hard to see, particularly with this black base. But guys, it is phenomenal. Look at the tiny support struts on the braces of the rear wing. I mean, the detail that they went to is just phenomenal. Look at the aluminum around the air intakes there on the rear fenders. The opening for the tires. I mean, whew, just cool. Well, folks, that's it. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope you've learned a little something. I certainly did in doing the research for this. A beautiful car. Thanks for watching. Please give this a thumbs up and subscribe. Take care. See you next time.